realising how powerful our story is, and, you know, it's going to help other families. And what my mum's doing is amazing, and it's so nice to know that the people out there, you know, are taking notice of what my mum's trying to achieve, because things do have to change.
I think a lot of people relate to Helen. She's, you know, she's such a lovely lady. I think everybody will look at her and think, well, you know, if that had happened to my husband, I don't blame you. And I think they do listen to her, and the girls.
I'll be introducing you to Stuart. He's helping us with the Life Lab project, the 3D side of it.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi Stuart, you okay?
Yes, good. So we're going to show you...
One of the projects dearest to Helen's heart, which daughter Zoe is also involved in, is to bring much more accessible education about the dangers of drinking into schools.
Augmented reality allows us to show a three-dimensional object on screen, and for the...
Look at that!
She's visiting a lab which is developing 3D technology to bring into schools.
Incredible.
I think because I have no hidden agenda. My agenda is I've lost somebody to murder, a violent murder, with the youth, with alcohol, and that's, I am speaking from the heart. I'm not really speaking from a book. Not being, you know, brainwashed into anything, you know, whatever. It's basically, I'm a normal woman who woke up one morning as a wife and then went to bed as a widow.
Hiya.
Improvements have been made in alcohol-related crime in Warrington.
Give me them here. What's your name? How old are you?
And the residents of Station Road are no longer blighted by drunken gangs.
You're under 18, so I'm now going to take them off you. I'm going to take your details, mate. Have you ever been in trouble with the police before?
But it remains a weekly battle for police right across the country to deal with groups of teens drinking.
Let me tell you, you might end up finding yourself in alcohol counselling, mate, if you carry on. Yeah, there's a bin fire at this location as well, if you let County Fire know, because there's a few yous about.
I'm not a party pooper. I enjoy a drink like anybody else. But the fact is that we need now to be careful in what we're doing. It's such a state and it's so accessible. So by being involved in the education, working with the alcohol industry themselves, which is the biggest factor of it all, it just ticks where I want to be and keep fighting for change, really.
It's incredibly important that people like her campaign for change, because she's had an experience that very, very few people have had, and therefore there's an authenticity when she speaks that very few people can match, because of the experience that she's been through and the credibility that she has and her family has. I think she's an absolutely remarkable woman.
Since the murder, Helen and the girls have moved away from the area, and despite the focus provided by campaigning, coming to terms with the terrible loss they've suffered continues to be a painful journey.
It's always going to be a piece of puzzle missing, and we're lucky that we have a close family, and obviously Amy is like my dad, so it's still like having my dad there, but Amy, my sister, life's completely different when my dad's not here, but as we're a strong family, we get through it day by day.
I can't put into words how angry I am about it, because it's completely changed. Like, for every single day I wake up and think, what would I be doing now? And I just constantly question what if, and you can't help but feel angry. And to see the way my little sister's changed, Amy, she completely was not herself. She's only just now being the Amy that we once knew. And to think what she would have been like if my dad was still here, and you know, she's had to grow up so much. She was 12 at the time, and I get really upset when I talk about Amy.
Because I spent most of my time with my dad, like gardening and washing car, it's lonely now. I mean, not lonely fully, because I obviously have my mum, my sisters and my other relatives, but because Dad was a big part of me, and basically, not a dad obviously, but a big brother and like a best friend. And now it seems part of me's gone too. But Zoe and Danielle like Dad in different ways. Sorry.
Take a minute.
So, he's not gone fully because, as Danielle said, I'm like him in ways. And it makes me laugh when I do things that he would probably do. But it's just that quality time that I miss.
I truly believe that you just don't know what's around the corner. But it's a case of that I can never bring Garry back. You don't need anything to remind you of the person. It's inside every day, every second. At the end of the day, you just have to make the best you can. And that is what I'm doing by doing what I'm doing, that Garry will never be forgotten. He was a human being, a normal human being. He's not a statistic, and he'll never be a statistic as far as I'm concerned.